Rock Talk with Tyson Bryden. Brandon Gibbs, welcome to Nonstop Rock Talk. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today. So, man, how are you doing?
Hey, brother, I'm great. Thanks for having me. And you said you're all the way up in Toronto?
In Toronto, yes.
All right, man. Awesome.
And
snowing?
And it's snowing, but it's not staying, hopefully.
And here I got short sleeves on, and I'm in Iowa, and usually right now we're getting pounded with snow, and it's like gorgeous out right now.
Oh, that's awesome. It was like that here about 2 weeks ago. It was like 19.
It's coming.
It's awesome. That's good to know. They said December's kind of going to be mild here, so we'll take it. So I guess the biggest thing is, how have you made out throughout the whole pandemic, like as a musician?
Well, okay. So when this first happened, I was in Atlanta, and the first week of March, and I was playing a show with my friend Joel Kosha, and Collective Soul. He's wonderful guitar player, and he dropped me off at the airport, and he said, "Just so you know, be alarmed. It's something's out there," and we just weren't sure what it was, and so I knew going home that everything was going to be different. I mean, the airport was practically empty, people scared of each other. And so I kind of had at first I didn't mind taking a break. I've been doing this for such a long time. I didn't mind it. I didn't realize it would last this long.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the ones that have been blessed to have played some shows. And, we did some in Kentucky and Green Bay and Milwaukee. I think we did Milwaukee, St. Louis. I mean, I did some. But the most beautiful part about this pandemic, if you can even call it beautiful, is I've just been focused on being a better songwriter and fitness and just tackling goals that have been put on hold because of a typical grueling schedule. And you come home and you don't want to do anything, and you got to go back to life. And so, man, I've really been just like sharpening some tools that have needed sharpened, and spending time with my daughter. But my record label, Golden Robot, I got to give them credit. They said, "All right, dude, we came out with Rain Whiskey last year. You did Leave at the beginning of this year. You're going to go back to the studio. We're not letting this thing hold us back." So they flew me out to our studio in Nashville. Well, I say our studio. It's my favorite studio to work at. It's actually Luke DeJanes of Groove Kitchen, and he's done all my work. So, yeah, I've managed to stay busy, and again, just really, really focusing on a couple things that have been on the back burner.
Cool. Now, let's go back a bit. I'm familiar with your background, but for my listeners that may not know, give me a little bit of your musical journey that has kind of brought you here today. I believe that originally you had played with your brother, and just kind of give me, it might be a lot, and I'm sorry to do that to you, to put you on the spot there, but.
Well, we can break it down a little bit, and that's all right. I like talking about this because it has been a hell of a journey. Pardon my language. I don't know if I should swear on here or not, but
you're okay. You can say whatever you want. You're good.
So, okay, me and my twin brother, his name's Brent, fantastic drummer, fantastic songwriter. We started out basically 12 years old. We decided we wanted to form a band, and we've been playing music, prior, and kind of had a knack for it. So we started a band called the Gibbs Brothers. We couldn't think of anything better, right? So we, at the time, were interested in songwriting, and we're too young to play out in bars and things like that. So we got real clever with it. We decided that we'd ask our father to play bass. Right. So then he could take us to these clubs and be our supervisor or whatever, and be our bandmate.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, man. So what we did was, and this is where it gets crazy, we decided we'd put on our own show at one point. And Brent and I, at the time, our side job was we worked at a movie theater. Well, at the very end of the ramp of the movie theater was this stage. And so I talked to our boss. I said, hey, we would really like to do a concert, maybe around Christmas time, and all ages, yada yada yada. And he said, okay, that's a great idea. You guys should do that. So they closed the theater down for movies, and they gave us the evening, and we sold our own tickets and the whole 9 yards. We sold it out, and a lot of it, and that wasn't that. I mean, we're talking maybe 70 seats in the theater. To us, we had a sea of people.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the concert, there was a limo outside, and there was a guy coming through town. It was a promoter, and he had his wife with him on a anniversary date. Well, they're in the limo drinking, and they go, "Oh, what's this line outside the theater?" Oh, it was live music. So they go in and listen to the set and pay the ticket price. And anyways, I didn't know who he was at the time. 2 weeks go by, the show's over, and I'm outside being just a normal kid. I'm jumping on the trampoline and hanging out with my girlfriend. My mom opens the screen door and she says, Brandon, there's a promoter on the phone. And I'll be straight up. I'm like, what the hell's a promoter?
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, you got to learn the lingo here. And she goes, you need to understand this. This guy wants you to open up for a guy named Peter Frampton.
Whoa.
And yeah, in like 6 weeks or something like that. And I was so green. I go, who's Peter Frampton? And literally she's like, I'm going to kill you. You got to know this stuff. And so it changed my musical course. I ended up opening for Peter Frampton as a 13-year-old by that time.
Wow.
13 or might have been 13 or 14. My numbers, it's in that frame. And it was Father's Day. And so we walk out to a sea of like 20,000 people.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of a relationship that stormed into so many other opportunities. For instance, going out and opening for Poison or the Doobie Brothers or REO Speedwagon, Foreigner, George Thorogood, you name it.
Wow.
We had now been like a stamp of approval. Like, they're not problem kids. They're good kids. They're pretty good. They're adorable. You want to kill 30 minutes and get them cheap. Here you go.
That's cool.
And so we just took these opportunities and it just opened so many doors for us. And along the lines, we'd create relationships with these people. So at an early age, like kids are going to football games and proms and things like that. We were going out and opening up for Kansas and coming back. So that was the early start.
Yeah.
The next, we were in that group for, I think, 11 years, 12 years, something like that. And we were one of those groups that kind of had like one foot over the rung, over the fence, but hasn't really. And it was just, it wasn't quite happening like it used to with my brother. He was wanting to settle down a little bit. And I was like, oh my God, no. Anyways, we were opening for Theory of a Dead Man. And he came backstage and he said, look, I got to leave. I can't do this anymore. It's been a wonderful run. And I thought, great, now what am I going to do?
Yeah. Wow.
So that started a whole bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I'll just stop talking for a second if you want to break it down to the next or whatever. But that's really how the beginning started.
So that was probably mid 2000s then, was it? I'm thinking Theory of a Dead Man's around that time, right? So good Canadian band too, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So then, from there, what took place from there? So you're kind of at a standstill, more or less. You're like, what am I going to do now? And then, but
dude, I thought the world was closing in on me because it's all I've ever known.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I was really, really super depressed, and I just thought, for a little bit, I thought maybe I can get him back. Maybe he just needs a break. And And I hung around, and I ended up actually getting so frustrated, I just quit the, I got what would it be, a residency show at like a hotel or something. It was the stupidest thing ever, but it was just me and my guitar, and I'm not kidding you, like a bunch of 13-year-olds having pizza parties, and there's a water park, and there's me. And nobody knew who I was, and it was, I actually ended up quitting the business for a year. Because I just thought, I had my time, and again, super depressed, and I went to work at a countertop company, which made no sense because I didn't know anything about countertops, and I still don't know anything about countertop. And then finally my boss just looked at me one day, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You're Brandon Gibbs, man. People love your stuff." And I go, "No, they don't. No one cares anymore. It's all about the Gibbs brothers." And he goes, "All right, how's this? You're fired." I was like,
"What?"
Yeah. And I go, "No, please, no. I got 2 failed things. I can't be in a band. I can't mess around with these wonderful countertops. Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
But what he did was he just said, "Get out and go do your thing. And don't come back. I'm not giving you a job ever again. You're going to go do it. We believe in you." And so my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, we just packed up, and I said, I need a reset. I need a reset here, the whole 9 yards. All right. And I got to put the past in the past. So we moved to Nashville, and just a little outside of Nashville, actually, to start with, before we found our home. But we were living in a hotel. It was a really nasty hotel. My wife had some part-time like travel nurse stuff she would do. And I just got up every day in this nasty hotel and started piecing things together. Like, all right, I need a list of everybody I've met and see what's up, see who wants to do some stuff, and see if anybody wants to get into something. I got to make this work. We got to get out of this hotel, And it's as most people that go to Nashville, it's not that you don't just snap your finger. Yeah. So I called Eric Brittingham of Cinderella, whom I've known for several years, and I said, "Look, man, I'm a singer now, and I got to get this together. I wrote this EP. Let's book some shows." So I had some shows for us to do, and the very first one we did, I believe, in Atlanta, again, still trying to find what to do. On the way home, my mother called me and said that we are never going to believe this. So what? Because I mean, the show was fine, but ESPN just called, and they want to pick up your song, "This Town."
Oh, wow.
And I about died. I'm like, this is exactly what I need. I want to be a songwriter, and I cannot believe that they stumbled upon this song. And Courtney Force from the John Force Racing team made a funny video of her prepping to get ready for this big race. Yeah. And she's super pretty, and she's doing push-ups in the thing and boxing and all this, and in the background they have the town. Yeah. Well, ESPN found it through that. And so that started my career as a songwriter, which then formed Cheap Thrill, which was Cinderella's Jeff LaBar, whom I met later on, and then Eric Brittingham and Shani Brandon, Collective Soul, myself. And we just toured our asses off. There's more pieces to it, but I'll get the short story. We went, we did a European tour. We did several cruises, rock cruises, every place with electricity. And we just killed it. We had such a good chemistry. And 3 years of that, again, super kind of so busy, I can't focus on my songwriting career. I wanted to make a record. I wanted to get into something that defines a little bit more of who I am as a songwriter. And so I left the band, partially left the band. I put it up. I put it on hold. And it was a very, very strange time because I was making a good living with that group. And we had a home that we really enjoyed. And here I am in Music City. And I left a pretty sturdy gig.
Yeah.
I went outside. My parents were visiting during this time. And I went outside and I set my SUV. I was getting ready to take them down to Nashville, down to Broadway. And I told them, and they were like, "What?
Oh, wow.
Why did you do that?" I go, "All right, hold on. I forgot my phone." I went into the house and I looked at my phone. There was voicemail from Rikki Rockett. And honestly, I hadn't heard from him in a long time. And he goes, "You, me, Tracii Guns, let's talk." I'm like, "Whoa, what's this about?"
Wow.
And I got home, got on the phone and had a meeting with them. And they're like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We love your voice. We love your guitar playing. We love your songs. And we want to start something.
Yeah.
So let's get this ball rolling." And I was relieved that there was somebody that was interested in just what I wanted to do. I wanted a record deal. I wanted a solid record of our own stuff. And so they brought in Eric Brittingham after, who I had already been touring with. And so I was really comfortable with that because him and I were real close, and it just felt like I had a brother going into a new project with me. And so that's how the Devil City Angels was formed. Few years of Devil City, and then I stepped out and did the stuff with Poison, CC and Bobby and Rikki. And we called that the Special Guest. And all the while throughout these years, I just kept my solo career going the entire time, got my own record deal. And so it's always have like 2 or 3 things kind of going and happening.
Well, that's cool. So the Special Guest, I do remember that. So you guys went out and did all the Poison stuff, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
What was that like? I mean, from like the fan perspective, the people must have just totally dug that, like when you're playing for them, right? Like all those great songs.
Well, it was a blast. I was super happy to help out. I had known Bobby and Rikki and CC for a very long time, and in fact, I've known Brett for a very long time. I was real happy to help, and just singing hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's like that feeling when you play the intro to the first song or the first part of the intro, and the crowd goes nuts, right? That happened every song.
Yeah.
So it was great. And to be honest, I think we brought some songs out like "Let Me Go to the Show."
Nice.
"I Won't Forget You." We did that one. We did "I Want Action" every single night. And that was like some songs that had been put on back burner for a little bit.
That's cool.
For Poison fans. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great guys, happy to help. And then I went out and did a couple shows as Brett's guitar player for a little bit. So just one big family, man. It's one of those things where it's hard to get into this business, but once you're in, you're like that. You're happy to help. And again, I would help them again if they needed it. But pretty big shoes to fill, to be honest. So it was nerve-wracking as well.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I've seen Poison a bunch of times, and it's always a party. It's always a good time because every song, one right after the other, and it's always high energy, right? And everybody's having a good time because those songs, as far as I'm concerned, they're timeless. Like you can, 50 years from now, people hopefully will still be like, "Oh man, nothing but a good time. Talk dirty to me." You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's so many of those songs that will never die. Nothing but a good time being one of them. That's just, young kids might not quite my daughter's age, but close. I mean, they listen to that song, and it's just cool to see like a rebirth of the generations passing it down, and how kids are listening to more Motley Crue and Poison and bands like that now. And you can walk the mall and see like a 14-year-old with a Bon Jovi shirt on, and so it's a type of it's an era that really doesn't die.
Yeah, which is, and I mean, I kind of attribute to the fact too that there's not as much for them to gravitate towards in terms of good time rock. You know what I mean? Like of stuff that, just makes people feel good.
That's it. It's a big, like, someone told me the best way to describe a Poison concert, and I was a fan before. I mean, I used to open for them and stand on the side of the stage and go, wow, these guys, they got all this energy. This is how you rock, Yeah. But it's like a big, for lack of better words, it's a rock Jimmy Buffett kind of feel.
That's so
like everybody's got their arms around each other, hollering, drinking margaritas, beer, and there's really nothing to dislike about going to a Poison show.
Yeah, and I agree, and I mean I attribute Sammy Hagar in that same class as well. Like going to a rock and roll Jimmy Buffett show, which is always a good time as well. But let's get to your new music. You mentioned Leave came out just, I guess, last March, and last September was Whiskey Rain, or is it Rain Whiskey?
Rain Whiskey.
Rain Whiskey. Yeah, I think on Amazon they have it incorrectly.
I think you're probably right, because a lot of people say Whiskey Rain.
Yeah, so. Because when I was researching and I was listening to that song, and I have it on my playlist, and it comes up as Whiskey Rain. So I do apologize. It's Amazon's fault.
Hey, as long as you drink the whiskey, you can say it however you want.
Right on, man. So is the expectation? You said you have been in the studio still with Golden Robot. Is there will be a full release, full album coming?
That's our plan. We got a little. Obviously, everyone got derailed with COVID-19, but the plan is to release music and continuously release it up to a full Brandon album, and which I'm thrilled about. And I love this approach because it's a lot less pressure. I'm not one of those guys that can like sit down with like 4 people and go, all right, let's get 3 songs out today.
Yeah.
Like I gotta bleed the song and feel it and marinate in it. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to have it be done this way. It might be a little nerve-wracking for fans who want an instant album, but I'm really finding my center, my balance of who I am right now recording. I'm more a mature songwriter and a better guitar player these days, and a better singer. So I really like this approach, and absolutely there'll be a full album.
Now, I love the vibe on Leave. It's kind of like a very soulful groove. Now, the premise of the song is very interesting as well. It's kind of a song about overcoming defeat in some ways and the well-being of our brothers and sisters. What was your thinking when you wrote that song?
Well, I had started this. I started speaking at different like schools and motorcycle events about my career and basically just the nasty, the bullying side. And really, I seen so many people go for their dreams and are different, and people just attack them for no real reason, just to make sure they got one in on them, And so I decided to write a song like, look, if you don't have anything else to say, piss off.
Yeah. Leave. Yeah.
Leave.
Yeah.
Just don't say it. It's just okay just to go, you know what? And I have such a strong love for the youth, and I want them to be empowered by that song. Like, I'm doing my thing. I'm different. Hell yeah, I'm different. Everyone's different. That's what makes us unique. If you don't like it, just go. And so I really wrote that song for people that feel like they're kind of picked on.
Oh, I think that's amazing. I mean, a lot of artists wouldn't touch on that, which I think you touching on it. That's pretty cool.
You're not the first person that said that, and I think it's interesting because in the rock and roll world, we all want to be so tough and cool, and our ego kind of gets in the way. And really, I want to help humans. And if that's uncool or if that's less rock and roll and badass, then go ahead and check me off in the pussy category or whatever you want to do. I'm here for my brother. I'm here for my sister, and I'm here to make them feel good because they make me feel good. And if we all just started doing that, and who knows, maybe it could be a movement. I don't know.
Man, if half the people thought that way, like seriously, I mean, there's so. I don't even want to get into it because I mean, there's so many things that are so wrong right now that, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, I mean, I know down in the States, you guys have so many more people, and up here in Canada, it's a little bit different, but we still have all those problems. You know what I mean? I think everywhere has those problems, but I think, with your message, I think if you can get that across, I think that is amazing. And I mean, I give you kudos for that, just for having the balls to do that. So,
well, a lot of people don't know this, but, as I started getting a little bit more success or a little bit more miles in my journey, people would kind of like throw daggers at me that I've known for a long time, again, for no real reason. Like, oh, we're not going to talk to him because he thinks he's this or he thinks he's that. And you find out someone just ignored you because of a new perception they have for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of breaks your heart. And you're like,
yeah,
hold on. I'm no different than I was. What are you talking about? You're drawing a conclusion of me that is false. You know what? Leave. I don't need that. I didn't do anything. And there's no reason to attack someone that is just doing their thing and just climbing the rung just like everybody else, business world, fitness, whatever. And so, I know what that's like to be punched for no reason,
Yeah.
For lack of better words.
That's cool. Now getting to Rain Whiskey, this song's got a totally different vibe than Leave, which is cool because I'm very interested to hear the full album because it seems like there's probably going to be stylistically, there's going to be a lot of different things going on, which I think is amazing.
Thank you.
Sometimes you listen to an album and you go, okay, it was the same song over and over again, just, you know what I mean? But then you get into an album. I've been listening to Lenny Kravitz's Strut album a lot lately. I had never heard it before. It was came out a few years ago. And it's got a lot of different styles, and Lenny's just he's kind of cool, right? And really good album. But anyways, it's not something I would normally listen to, but I was I kind of heard the song New York City off of it. I think it came out 2014 or something like that. And I've kind of gravitated towards that. But getting back to you, those albums where it's got those different vibes to it really, for me now as a listener, is it really attracts me. So I'm looking forward to the album. But getting back to Rain Whiskey, give me kind of an idea of the direction of that song lyrically.
Well, okay, so I absolutely love having parties. I love having people over. I love cooking for them. I love getting them drunk. I just love making memories, and I'm well aware that we have a limited time on Earth, and I just want to make the best of it. And sometimes we get so lost in paying the bills or getting to the next goal or trying to please somebody that we don't give ourselves enough excuses to have a good time. I mean, I people tell, oh, I'm sorry, I kind of cut loose a little bit. And it's like, oh my God, why are you telling me you're sorry?
Yeah.
Just have it. So the premise with that is to kind of show the fun Brandon Gibbs that people get when we hang out and we just listen to music, party, talk cars, girls, whatever, and give yourself permission to do the same. And so it's just about cutting the stress, cutting the tension, taking a machete, cutting the tension, and just letting go and having a great time, turning the music up. In its own way, kind of like a nothing but a good time. That's what you're looking for. You want you want the sky to open up and throw them back. And in a way, it's almost kind of it's not a country song, but I guess it sort of could be. Yeah, so that's the premise of Rain Whiskey, is just to let yourself have a wonderful time. And again, you only live once. That's all you need. Let's turn the music up, get our ears to bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I enjoy the grit of that song. It's just swampy. It just has, our drummer Luke is just he's got such a pocket and has some blues undertones, rock undertones, and country undertones. It was an absolute thrill to make that song.
That's cool. Now, Devil City Angels did release a song this year called Testify, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Good tune. Lineups changed a little bit. Rikki Rockett's still in the fold, and yourself. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah. Devil City has just been kind of a see where things go sort of group. And I brought Joel Kosha in, partner of mine from formerly Collective Soul, to play guitar. And in the video, we had Topher Nolan, who played for John Corabi for a little while. Yeah. And it's just, we had this song in the bag for a while, and we had this video, and we wanted to find the right time to release it. And I think it came out right at a good time where people needed it to, it's got a little bit of a classic rock kind of feel. And that was also a blast to me. That was one of those songs that was actually made in with different flyouts. Like, I flew to Atlanta to do vocals.
Oh, wow. Joel
flew to Iowa. He was on tour with me for a couple shows I had to do. So in between, we sat at my house and did it like a mobile recording of guitars and my solo and his solos. And Rikki went to Fred Curry's studio, Cinderella, and Los Angeles. And so it was made differently. It was made differently than I've ever recorded any song. So that was unique. Definitely an experience to do it like that. I would do it again. It's their recording has come so far that you can cut a song by doing it in your living room if you feel like it.
Yeah, which is great. You don't have to spend a ton of money in studios, and which is kind of cool. Now, will there be more stuff coming forth with Devil City Angels, or?
I don't know. I sure hope so. It's it's a band that my dad always says, Devil City really just doesn't ever die. It's still, people still like that, and that feels good to be a part of something like that. That we can make music when we want. We can make music not because we have to, but because we want to. And so I think again, COVID really screwed us up, any plans that we had. Yeah. And so we have a new manager named James Lucenti, and Nashville guy. It's really in his court and probably in Ricky's court, and see what the schedules look like. So I'm always open for talking about doing anything with Devil City, because it's a baby of mine,
Yeah, it was funny because I was in my truck driving somewhere, and I'm in a band, and I was with my drummer, and we were listening to Devil City Angels. I said, "Here, man, you gotta check this out." So he's listening to it, and he goes, "I can't believe how good Rikki Rockett is." I was like, "Man, he's always been good." It's just like, he's like, "Yeah, but he's playing differently." I'm like, "Yeah, but I mean,"
I gotta say that I'm pretty hard on drummers, and I thought his drum playing on that was just spectacular.
Yeah.
Doing fills that, Poison has a catalog, and you hear that catalog, and this kind of took him out of that realm, and he really owned. He didn't just record the songs; he owned them.
Yeah.
I thought, and I think his drumming fans would really appreciate that he went out and just put up 110% on that.
Yeah, and he did, and it was funny because it wasn't just the one time he said it. He's like, "I can't believe how good he sounds." I was like, "Man, he's good. I've seen him live many times, and he's always entertaining." So,
And well, the good part of that is like while we were touring, we were hot to trot. Like we had rehearsed, we had several shows under our belt. So when we went into the studio, there wasn't any rust. Everyone was pretty, like I'd catch myself almost dancing in the vocal booth like I was on stage or something. Cool. And so everyone was like pretty seasoned. And of course, Tracii brought it home and he had several really great guitar solos. And Brittingham, he is kind of an iconic bass player from that era, and he had a certain way he plays. And then there's me.
Yeah, it was all you guys all brought it, and it shows on the album. I mean, getting back to the drive, and I mean, we were talking about Rikki Rockett's his drumming, because someone said to me, they're like, that's like Smoking in the Boys Room. That intro is like Smoking in the Boys Room. I'm like, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Very much is. But I mean, that song is probably a funny story about that is a buddy of mine, Brian Weatherby. I'm going to mention him because he'll probably listen to this. And
hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. So, anyways, he sent me this thing from his truck one day. He's like, "Have you heard this song?" And it was Back to the Drive. I was like, "No, I haven't, but I got to get to it. I know the band. This is only going back a few months ago." And so, anyways, he finally cornered me, got me in the truck, and he put on Back to the Drive, and I was like, "Holy shit, man! What a song!" I'm like, "This is amazing." And we were talking about it, and he goes, "You got to check out this line." He goes, "They'll cut down the tree, and then they'll wonder where the cherries went." He goes, "I love that line," and he goes, "I love the phrasing, right? It's just such a great line." But from talking to you earlier, I come to find out that it was a cover. And maybe you can explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that that song was a cover. It was based on a friendship that I have with old friend. Her name's Vicky Blue. She was the bass player of Runaways for a while, and we were hanging out by Ricky's house. This is probably 15 years ago, and Rikki produced a record for my brother and I back in the day, in the Gibbs brother days. So I was just hanging out with her, and she had a film called Edge Play, a film about the Runaways. Cool. And the intro of that DVD, that documentary, had that song playing.
Oh.
And there's like two versions of it. There's one that's really kind of like had a lot of piano, old school, like really almost Mickey Gilly-ish piano or something. Oh,
really?
Like
okay,
that.
That's cool.
Or who's his crazy cousin? Mickey's
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, it had a little bit of that feel to it, and that was rocking it, And then there was a version on the video that's like amped up a little bit. I'm like, oh, this just sticks in my head, and I went home and researched it some more, and I started playing it live with the Gibbs Brothers. We just throw it in there like it was one of our own.
Yeah.
And well, anyways, we're rehearsing at this. Believe it or not, it was a wolf sanctuary.
Wow.
Or was a wolf sanctuary, and it was beautiful, like beautiful home out in Castaic, California, I believe it was. And Tracii takes a smoke break, and I grab the guitar, and I start playing Back to the Drive. Well, Eric knew that song from being he filled in for the Gibbs Brothers from time to time. So he starts playing it, and then Rikki starts to do. Next thing you know, Tracii peeks his head and he says, "But whose song is that?" He goes, "Is that yours?" I said, "Actually, it's not. It's a Susie Quattro song. I don't know if you remember Happy Days, Pinky Tuscadero."
Yeah.
He goes, dude, I'm not letting this go. We got to cut that song. So we decided we'd put a cover on there. And if you listen to Tracii's guitar solo in that, that was one of the highlights, I think, of working with him, was his approach towards solos. And I can't remember how he did. I was outside the room when he was cutting that solo because he was going to go into his own space, really.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be surprised. And it just sounds like there's a monster kind of getting out of or a zombie coming out of the grave. There's string clinking and then he does this like tremendous solo. So that was, we were all very, very happy to have cut that song.
Yeah. And I mean, and like like listening to it, I'm like, what the hell is Back to the Drive? And it's kind of, I was kind of confused about it, but I mean, what was your take on that?
My take on that, what I took on from it is, let's get back to the good times. You know, if I could think of why it was written, if I could imagine, I would say probably getting back to going to the drive-ins, to the parties, to the whether it was a sock op back then, just anything that made you feel good, have fun, a kegger in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And I applied it towards my touring. You know, when I had time off, all right, I'm going to get back to the drive here and see the fans in the late nights. Unfortunately, they're almost comical because they're inevitable. And you grow to love it, and you grow to become like a product of it. And it becomes a piece of you. So I always tell my wife, you know, I got to get back to the drive, and it could easily, like I said earlier, it could be the grind for all I know. But for me, it's like, get out the door and do what you do.
Yeah. So it kind of stuck with you, like that phrase.
It did.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And now it might stick with me because now that I understand it a little bit more, right?
Hey, it's your interpretation. However you want it to go, that's what music's about.
Yeah. And and I have a hard time deciphering some of the like the lyrics, because there's so many. It just seems like there's so many phrases going on in there, and like I mentioned, that the phrasing is amazing, just the way that those vocals roll off, right? Which is such a cool thing. And another part of it that I really love is how you've got the beginning section with the drums, with the Smoking in the Boys Room type drums, but instead of going to the verse, it goes into that ooh, you know, that kind of thing at the beginning.
We added that.
Oh, did you?
That was ours. I gotta say, I wanted it to be spooky.
Yeah, and it's cool.
And those harmonies are kind of in minors.
Yeah.
And which is one of my favorite things to do. It's haunting, and it kind of sets the tone for what's ready to come. And then you got the haunting ooze, and then all of a sudden, like you said, you have phrasing that is so unique. Like, now we're going to live it up again. I mean, just the literally lived up every minute. Yeah. I thought that was unique as well.
Yeah, and the part about that's going into the chorus about the limo is always waiting at your door. Which I love that line too as well.
It just reminds me of it. Each, you know, we all meet in the lobby before the show, and someone picks us up, and it could be a limo, it could be an Escalade, it could be a fucking piece of shit. Someone's taking us to the show, so
that's right.
It's relevant. You know, like that's usually what happens. You know.
Yeah. So now getting to Goodbye Forever, which is a song that I believe you wrote.
Yeah.
Again, Brian, my buddy Brian. Hi, Brian. He puts that song after, and he goes, "This may be one of the greatest ballads I've ever heard." And I was like, "Come on."
God.
I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "I've heard so many ballads, man." I was like, but then I was hooked. I was like, "You might be right. This is an amazing song." I mean, the whole premise of it is, and every time I listen to it, I think about it, because I'm like, when you think of Goodbye Forever, and you probably thought this as you were writing the song, but I mean, I had kind of a shitty year. My wife and I broke up, and then my dad passed away. So thank you. So it's kind of like those words meant a lot to me, because it's like, okay, when somebody passes, that is definitely probably goodbye forever. And then a relationship most likely is goodbye forever. So every time I listen to that song and your lyrics, I'm like, holy shit, man, this makes so much sense.
It's exactly how you just described it. It is exactly how it's supposed to hit. All those emotions, I never understood. Like, okay, relationship wise, never understood. Okay, so it didn't work out. I'll never speak to you ever again. I'll never. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
You know, we spent all this time together. Now we're done. All right, that feels weird.
Yeah.
But really, the premise, and I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God. I have a one-on-one relationship with him that's unique, and it works for me. I'm by no means an angel, but I had to say goodbye to someone very close, and it's my grandfather, the guy that's tattooed on my knuckles, and he taught me all these cool things. He taught me all these cool things about life and how to treat somebody and how to go after your goals. And he had a routine surgery that I was just excited to get him through it. It wasn't necessarily anything it wasn't a scary surgery. It really was a routine, like I said. And anyways, something went dead wrong, and I had to say goodbye to him. And I went there and walked out with a bag of his clothes.
Oh man!
And I'm going, and I started thinking in this hotel one day. I'm like, how do you say? And I started harmonizing and layering it. And I'm going to touch on grieving and let people go, let people interpret it the way they feel. And that being said, that's how I felt at that time. I didn't know how to say goodbye forever. I know I'll see my grandfather again. But when it happens to you, that's how you feel. You feel like there's nothing left, How do you deal with that? And that's a very human instinct and feeling. I don't know how to deal with that. I can't see this person ever again. Do I delete their phone or the phone number out of my phone? I mean, I can't just delete them out of my life.
I know. Yeah.
They're here, they're in your heart. And so that is the premise of that song. And I think that's what makes it a great song, is people can relate to it.
And I think that's what it is, because I hear a ballad now for the most part, like a slower song, and I'm like, okay, it's good. I used to love ballads back in the day, like Every Rose, and when ballads were big back in the 80s. But now I'm just kind of like, I'd rather listen to the hard rocking stuff and rock out, and I don't really want to be emotionally attached to any song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that song really hit home. So, and I know for my buddy Brian, he loved it that much too, and it hit home to him as well. So, I mean, kudos to him for introducing me to that.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So, I mean, another one that is kind of interesting to me, and it is All I Need, because the first time I heard it, I'm like, this kind of sounds like a Christmas song. It almost has that Christmassy vibe to it.
Yeah.
But it's a cool song. It fits so well on the album. But it was just like I said, and Brian, again, I said, is this a Christmas song?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. That one, Rikki and I started riding in the back of a tour bus. And he's like, don't make fun of me. But I got this, da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay. And then I had this, as we grow older, my arms around your shoulder line in my head for a long time. And we kind of went for like a who gives a damn sort of Beatles take at it. It's gonna sound like nothing else on the record. We already knew that. But we had a rule that we would let a good song go where it needs to go. I always laugh because, you remember the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You could do the Carlton to that.
That's right.
That's so true,
man. That is so true.
I love making fun of ourselves. But you could totally do the Carlton to it. It sounds kind of free.
Swinging,
a little hippy dippy, maybe. I don't know.
I have a buddy that does the Carlton really well, and I'm going to play that song for him and get him to do it.
Video it.
I will, and I'll send it to you.
Please do.
I'll say to him, hey man, you've never heard this song, but you got to do the Carlton to it, please.
I'll send that to the guys. They'll find that funny.
Oh, that's awesome, man. You know what? And I'm going to let you go in a minute, because I've taken up quite a bit of your time, and I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
the thing about the album that I find, and a lot of albums don't do this anymore, is when it's done, you want to listen to it again because it's not too long. You know how some albums today is like 60 minutes, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to put on something else.
Mhm.
This one, because it's so good, I want to listen to it again.
Yeah, that's songwriting for me is again, let it go where it needs to go, and sometimes less is more. And we don't, we'll trim the fat real easily sometimes. And if it's not music, if it's not candy for your ears, we typically would just get rid of the part or change the part. Yeah. And sometimes that shortens the song. So one thing I like about it too is that record, it happens pretty quickly. And then, like you said, you're ready to spin it again. So it's a high protein record. It's pretty lean, you know?
Yeah, and that reminds me of like the first time I heard Look What the Cat Dragged In open up and say, because they were, they were 30 to 40 minutes, and they're like, wow, every song was so good. I got to hear this again.
I love it, man. That's how it should be. You can work out to it. You can, but it's instantly ready to go for the next round.
Yeah, I've actually had it on my turntable. I have a treadmill in my place, so I've put it on and then ran to it. So
awesome.
Yeah, and it picks you up, right? It's like, okay, man, I'm ready to go. I'm good to go. This is awesome. So
yeah, and you could roll your windows down and cruise and think of nothing but just hum along to it. It's definitely a cruising song as well.
Yeah, and I've done that. Back to the Drive the windows have been down, and I have had it cranked in the truck.
Yes.
Anyways, going towards the album, there's no definite release date yet then for your solo album.
No, not yet. There's a new song coming out in January called Lost Boys.
Cool.
And it's about it's about me, and it's about you. It's about the artist, and it's about the fans. And fans live for going to shows, man. It's their favorite pastime. It's what they do. It brings people together. Artists live for going and playing and performing. I do. I don't just like to play. I like to entertain.
Yeah.
And it's about our stages being taken away.
Yeah.
It's about your venue being taken away from you. And it really capitalizes on 2020 sharply, almost like a sniper. And it is unlike anything I've written. It's pretty damn cool.
Well, Brandon, thank you very much for coming on today. It was such a pleasure, and hopefully we'll get to do it again. I'd love to have you on.
Appreciate it, Tyson. Yeah, it's tell Brian thank you for introducing it to our music, and I'm happy you thought of me to come on.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure. And you enjoy the rest of your day, man. Thanks again.
Hey, you too, Tyson.
Okay.
Be well.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.